In this video, I will answer a question that is often asked on this channel. Why was it that Germany, with such talented scientists and engineers and impressive advances in areas such as jet aircraft and rockets, was unable to build an atomic bomb before the United States? Germany in World War II was a true technological powerhouse, with impressive achievements in areas such as rockets, jet aircraft, and armored vehicles. However, curiously, in the field of nuclear weapons, the Germans lagged far behind the Allied effort that culminated in the Manhattan Project and the atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This raises the question: why was it that Germany, with its abundance of brilliant scientists and engineers, was unable to develop an atomic bomb before the United States? The German nuclear weapons program, known as the Handwaffen or Uranium Society, was initiated in April 1939, a few months after the discovery of nuclear fission in Berlin in December 1938. This German discovery, which demonstrated the potential for the release of enormous amounts of energy from the atom, prompted the German government to explore its military applications, bringing together many of Germany's leading physicists, including Werner Heisenberg, Kurt Dibner, and Icard Friedrich von Weizsäcker, with the program and initially focusing on achieving a sustained nuclear chain reaction, a crucial step towards nuclear reactors and weapons. However, progress was hampered by several factors, including the outbreak of war and the conscription of scientists into military service. On the other side of the Atlantic, the United States, driven precisely by fears of a German atomic bomb, plunged headlong into its own nuclear weapons program, the Manhattan Project, a top-secret program that began in 1942 and was formally authorized by President Roosevelt in December of that year, resulting in the pouring of immense resources into research and development at facilities such as Oak Ridge, Humford, and Los Alamos in New Mexico. The project was directed by Major General Leslie Groves of the United States Army Corps of Engineers, with the scientific sector being in charge of Robert Oppenheimer. All this gigantic effort resulted in the creation of two types of atomic bombs, a cannon-type fission weapon and a much more complex implosion-type weapon. In addition to these two types of bombs, three methods for enriching uranium were developed: electromagnetic, gaseous, and thermal. And in parallel to all this, there was a great effort to mass-produce plutonium, feats only achieved thanks to the gigantic structure set up, with more than 120,000 workers in 37 different facilities, in stark contrast to the German program, which was much more fragmented and much less prioritized. Incredibly advanced technologies achieved in record time, thanks essentially to the gigantic economic and industrial power of the United States. The irony of the fear of a German atomic bomb motivating the United States to develop its own is a curious example of how perceived threats can drive technological innovation and intensify the arms race. The United States, fueled by this fear, invested enormous resources in the Manhattan Project, finally achieving what the Germans could not. But what actually led Germany to fall so far behind in the nuclear race? There were several reasons, such as, for example, Germany's needs in wartime and its prioritization of other technological advances over nuclear weapons. With early successes in the war, using conventional weapons and advanced technologies such as jet aircraft and rockets, the German leadership underestimated the need for nuclear weapons. This focus on immediate needs influenced the allocation of resources and scientific talent, hampering the progress of the nuclear program. The German nuclear program faced numerous obstacles that further hampered its progress, starting with the brain drain. The persecution of Jewish scientists by the German Nazi and Italian fascist regimes deprived the program of crucial knowledge. Indeed, many of the scientists who fled Nazism and fascism ended up contributing decisively to the Manhattan Project. German nuclear scientists also made critical miscalculations in their reactor designs, most notably the decision to use heavy water instead of graphite as a moderator. This reliance on heavy water proved to be a strategic mistake, leaving the program vulnerable to Allied attacks on the Norsk Hydro heavy water plant in Norway. Lack of support was a key factor, with the German regime and military leadership failing to fully appreciate the potential of nuclear weapons, with nuclear physics itself being viewed in Nazi circles as a Jewish science and therefore unworthy of massive investment. This lack of commitment, coupled with the prioritization of other war-related research and development activities, was an additional important factor in the failure of the program. In addition to all these obstacles, the German nuclear program was marked by missed opportunities and strategic errors, such as the fact that German scientists initially underestimated the amount of fissile material needed for a bomb, leading to many delays and setbacks. The German program also devoted excessive effort to developing nuclear reactors, diverting resources from weapons research. Although reactors have applications in the weapons program as well, the emphasis on reactor technology may have slowed the pursuit of a bomb. The lack of urgency for the development of such a weapon, following Germany's early military successes in the war, contributed to a sense of complacency in the development of nuclear weapons, which were seen as unnecessary. After all, if they were making good progress with V-2 rockets and Me-262 jets, why divert so many resources to develop a bomb that no one knew for sure would work? However, as the war turned against Germany, the need for a miracle weapon became more urgent, but by then it was too late. Nor can we ignore the impact of the heavy Allied bombing, which, although it did not stop the program, delayed research, destroyed facilities, and forced the relocation of important scientists and materials. The sabotage of the Norsk Hydro heavy water plant in Norway was a particularly devastating blow because, as I mentioned earlier, the Germans had chosen heavy water as the element to control nuclear reactions. As we can see, the failure of the German atomic bomb program was not due to a single cause, but rather to a combination of factors, miscalculations and scientific errors. Lack of resources and support from the German government, poor coordination, and strategic errors all contributed to the program's inability to produce a weapon before the United States. Ultimately, the German atomic bomb effort serves as a reminder that even the most technologically advanced nations can falter when faced with a combination of internal challenges, external pressures, and, most importantly, a lack of a clear strategic vision.